Hi, it's Tuesday afternoon. What's the time? The time is about 20 to 5. On my way back from teaching this afternoon. Just having some thoughts. I'm in a traffic jam, so obviously I can chat. I'm just thinking, sort of reviewing my weekend really, and reflecting on a conversation I had with an old family friend. And still trying to work out, I suppose, how it is that a married couple gets to a point where, after having 4 children, they decide they no longer are in love, as he put it, and he wants to separate from his lady wife. It's not necessarily thinking about divorce, but definitely feels that he wants to separate. They have multiple properties, and his suggestion is that he moves into one of the properties, which is out of the London area, and she continues to live in their family home with the children, as the children go to school locally, and the youngest child is not really old enough to care for themselves. Obviously, I say obviously, to me it's obvious, wife is not keen, because she feels that he could stay and care for the kids while she lives in the property that they have out of the local area. And his view is that this is a highly ridiculous proposition, because he works and is, as he puts it, the provider. She does not work, but they're able to sort of sustain themselves with his income and income from rental property that they own. And initially, I when I spoke with him, I kind of felt, in my discussion with him, I felt, why not try some couple counselling in the first instance, to see if that can provide any sort of breakthroughs in terms of the impasse that they have in their relationship. And he said, no, that's waste of time, it's that's not what we do, kind of thing. And it got me thinking really about couples, and then more specifically about black couples who have, I suppose, issues with, black people generally really, that have issues with sharing the difficulties that they struggle with in their relationships, which is it's difficult, because it may well be that having a neutral person provide some sort of intervention in a situation that no doubt has been going around and around and around in circles for sometimes might be a way forward. But we in our community do have this thing about our business being our business and nobody else's, which I can identify with to some extent. But when you're running into trouble in things like your relationship, surely you owe it to yourself to seek, or make an effort to seek, some sort of intervention with a view to hopefully getting some kind of resolution or some kind of mutual understanding between you and your partner. Interestingly enough, this friend of mine, he did want to speak, he did want to talk, and he's aware of the kind of work I do and my kind of counselling leanings and that kind of thing. So he was happy enough to speak with me in more detail about what their problems are. And he, whilst feeling that the relationship and the emotional aspects of their relationships were probably too challenging at this point, he was very concerned about the monetary aspect of their relationship and the assets they have together and how that would be divided. So when I suggested that, okay, perhaps mediation may be something you might be willing to try, because not only would that deal with aspects of the relationship, but it would also very clearly deal with some of the financial aspects of their relationship, i.e. how various assets were going to be split, or how they were going to manage if the separation were to go ahead. And he seemed to be more accepting of that. But I do wish we would think more about using external interventions. Local churches, or one's local church, is often able to provide some kind of guidance. But of course, if you're a non-church attender, there are therapeutic services and therapeutic practitioners who can assist with helping you to resolve or come to some understanding in things like relationship issues. You may not necessarily like the style of the person you select in the first instance. That is up to you. And if you encounter a practitioner or a counselor or a marriage guidance setup that you're not happy with, you can change. You can change the person, or change the individual, or change the organization you're receiving the service from. It's like anything else. You have absolute choice as to what you use, when you use it, and how you use it. Isn't your relationship worth that? And I know it's not easy. Because once you take a problem or an issue beyond your immediate circle, it does feel rather exposing. It does make you feel somewhat vulnerable. But again, I would ask, is it not worth it? Is your relationship not worth it? Even if it's about just being sort of possibly even painfully honest with each other about how you feel and where things are at, under the guidance of a neutral person, surely that's worth it. Because the alternative, of course, you continually argue, you don't get anywhere, you rehash the same scripts, and your children are affected. Because in this situation with my friend, he has 4 children, and at the moment their relationship is so poor that they use the children to communicate with each other. That's not good. It's not good for the kids, who are sort of young adults. They're adolescents, but they're burgeoning on adulthood, and at the moment they're kind of manipulating both parents, or using that split between the parents to their advantage. So think about that. Those of you who have relationship issues, consider seeking outside support, outside help, outside intervention, which is totally and utterly private and confidential. These practitioners have to work ethically. They are bound by professional standards, and in many respects, I ask again, is your relationship not worth exploring those kinds of issues in that forum? Now, I know that sometimes you have situations where one side of the partnership is willing to enter counselling, and the other person may not be. And there isn't a lot you can do about that as an individual. You can't make the other person attend counselling. Well, I would suggest, under those circumstances, if you're the one who's willing to do it, go alone. Talk it out. Speak about it. It's probably it'll probably be a lot clearer than speaking to a friend or family member who may have, obviously, your best interests at heart, but may not necessarily be as objective as you need them to be. Again, the choice is up to you. But I would certainly suggest that you move outside of the immediate circle of the problems that you're encountering and get outside help. Why suffer in silence? Or why suffer in turmoil? Because that's essentially what happens. Turmoil, conflict, arguments, hostility. Ultimately, particularly if you have children, you want to get to a stage or a situation whereby even if you do not stay together, you continue to work together as a team because you have children together. As I said again, even if you do not stay together, you want to get to a stage or a point where you split amicably and you both have the children's best interests at heart. That's my view. If you have a point that contrasts with that, or you can see holes in what I've said, get in touch, give me a call, or send me a text, or send me a WhatsApp or something. Quite happy to hear another view on it. Peace.